Okay, so I wasn't going to hit the intro when we just popped up on the screen then, but we haven't done a podcast in a while and I wanted the pop, so we got the pop. Welcome to the WrestlePurists podcast. I believe we're on episode 27 of this. Today we're doing something a little bit different, where basically we've done a tweet asking for questions for my good friend here that I'm joined by, Backup Hangman, and we're kind of just going to go through questions and just talk a bit of wrestling, to be honest. Nothing too fancy or special, just a bit of a pastime. I know Raw starts soon, but if you're going to watch that from the start, God bless. You know, I'll have it on, so I'm not here to dunk on anyone for watching WWE, but, you know, here we are. Like I said, joined by Backup Hangman. How are you, bro? What you been doing? Why are you so late?
Why I'm so late is one of the great mysteries of WrestlePurists. Maybe someday we'll, when we produce extended content, we can maybe do some curtain pulling videos, maybe examining things like that. But I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back. I enjoyed the week off. That was nice. I'm pretty ready for our next proper podcast with maybe a few potential new members.
Yes.
But in the meantime, I'm happy to kind of just kick it, not really have a super structured conversation here and just kind of hang out with you guys before, 10% of you go and watch Raw and then the rest of you guys go jerk off or something, whatever you guys do. But yeah, man, we're here. We're live, man. We got some questions from a Q&A that I did on Twitter. I'm going to be reading some of you guys' Twitter questions.
Do you have any that you want to... Have you picked any out, or are we just winging it?
I'm going to go to the post in a bit, and we'll kind of look at some of it. A few of them are pretty genuinely interesting questions. Mm-hmm. So we'll definitely go through some of them. We'll talk about what's going on in wrestling, or whatever. It doesn't feel like there's that much news lately. Is it just me? It just feels like things are kind of just like chilling right now. You know what I mean? Like remember the week where, Vince first kind of got outed and the MJF stuff. And that week where
that was Israel's debut podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah, where so much was going on in wrestling.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Everybody's getting hurt, and Vince got exposed, and MJF situation. Now things kind of just settled into what they are for right now.
I think wasn't it something like Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out. The first Wall Street Journal Vince McMahon story dropped, and Randy Orton it was announced that Randy Orton was injured. Well, not announced, but we saw it in reports.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it was such an eventful week, and right now it's just kind of, we are where we are right now. It's early July. AEW doesn't have a pay-per-view event until early September, and Tony Khan is just kind of getting by, matchmaking and creating interesting week-to-week shows, but nothing like big to build on right now. We don't know CM Punk's status. At least we, the viewers, don't know. Tony probably has an idea. But yeah, things are just kind of going as they're going, and that's kind of why I wanted to switch it up a little bit today and maybe engage with the audience a bit more and kind of just talk to them. Just see how that goes.
Yeah, just talk to the people.
Yeah. Do you want to briefly maybe just kind of touch on some of what stuck out to you when it comes to the last week of wrestling television? Like anything that kind of...
Well, wrestling TV wise, there's been a lot. So last week, this time last week on Raw, we had the Becky Lynch Asuka no holds barred match, and a very good 6-man tag, which I think we both enjoyed. And I think it's one of those matches that kind of goes under the radar, because if you don't watch Raw, which is perfectly understandable for some people, especially the AEW fans, sometimes you do miss out on these little gems. We've got plenty of people in our little circle at WrestlePurists, but definitely do not watch Raw. Even if you recommend them a match, you're probably not going to watch it. But that 6-man tag was really, really good. And
it wasn't. Here's the thing about it. So, a friend of mine on wrestling Twitter, Joseph Montesillo, he has his own account. He doesn't watch WWE's product regularly, but he's like a lot of people in that, he doesn't watch the product, but there's certainly a bunch of guys on the roster that he's a fan of, right? And so what I do to him sometimes is I'll like just let him know if like Chad Gable had a gem because he's a big Gable fan, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I did it was late last year, Balor and Gable had a really, really good like 5 minute match on Raw. And I told him about it and he like loved the match. And so since then, like I'll just randomly alley oop whenever like something like a sleeper match happened on Raw. And it happens. They creep up on you, like you don't notice because it's like it's not a very good show regularly. And it's not a show that people want to watch weekly. But then like those who will watch will, sometimes they'll get lucky and something will happen. So yeah, I thought the 6-man tag was fun. Bobby Lashley's like a really over babyface right now.
Oh, bro.
He's
so
like
I don't think a lot of people realize this is another thing with having so many friends of ours that don't really watch Raw. Like when we say like Bobby Lashley is super over, like he is, man. Like he's like crazy over. It pops me. Those hot tags. He's just
yeah,
the
like
new entrance.
That's the thing. Like Bobby now is like white hot. Like they're presenting this. It's just funny that like he's like what 45 years old and he's like at his peak right now. Like he's more over now than he was when they were trying to give him the industry plant push in 2007. And he's a more refined talent. And like it's things are really they're clicking for Bobby. You got Montez Ford who's like getting shredded out of nowhere. It's like he's getting ready for something. I don't know if they whispered to him like we're gonna split the Street Profits up in the next draft or something, but he seems like he's ready for a singles run. He's getting huge.
He's ready for
and Chad Gable is always gonna be great. It's Chad Gable. So yeah, that 6-person was fun. I saw the little Rollins. I saw the Rollins Ezekiel match because I saw Dave Meltzer put it over, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Honestly, man, look, for all the criticisms that one may have for Seth Rollins because of his character, and I'm one of them. Seth is probably WWE's MVP this year since Cody's injured. I was looking at his cage match guide, and like he's had a lot of good wrestling matches, man. Like let me pull this up.
Yeah,
Do you remember
definitely.
that? You remember that 3-way tag title match they had on Raw like early in the year?
Which one?
Let me pull it up right now. Let's see here. Yeah, it was Chad Gable and Otis versus Kevin Owens and Rollins versus Orton and Riddle on Raw.
Yeah, there was a lot of that was when they were really going in with the 6-man tags for a while. There was a few 6-man tags in that.
No. It was a triple threat tag match. It wasn't a 6-person.
A triple threat tag match. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was. Dave gave it 4.5. I thought it was like to that point the WWE match of the year until some of the Cody stuff with Seth. But yeah, I saw those matches on Raw. Those are some gems. NXT Great American Bash was just a show. Not really much to say about it overall. I liked Carmelo Hayes' entrance, and I think I honestly miss Ben Carter. I think he was the glue that really kept me to kind of care about this show for a little bit because it felt like no matter how bad or mediocre things got, like Ben Carter was gonna just absolutely kill it for his match. It almost felt reminiscent of like watching a mid-90s Raw and like Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart came out. Like it's just like completely different levels, and that's what he felt like for me. So I miss him, and it sucks that he's hurt. But yeah, NXT was kind of just there. Dynamite, I liked it more than you did.
Oh no.
Dynamite was cool. I'm saying it, and I'm like struggling to remember what happened as I'm talking about it right now. Like I'm trying to like in my brain. Mox Brody King, that was Dynamite, right?
Mox Brody King, Wardlow won the belt. Rude versus Penta. The Swerve Lee tag match.
The Swerve match. Dynamite was cool. Dynamite was cool. I would kind of like. I think now that I'm seeing how it all played out, it probably would have been better if Mox Brody King was like a 3-week TV program rather than a 1-week thing. Because
even just a week in between, bro. Just like a little bit of something to give them a bit more meat. You know what I mean?
Because I like Brody King. Like I really like Brody King, and I think he's a great opponent for Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
But I think him just kind of going straight to having the match, It's hard for the viewer to think of it as anything other than just they're feeding someone to John, to just win to just retain. And I mean, of course, he's going to retain against Brody, but I do think you could have, at least given him some like Lance Archer like booking where you kind of at least give him the fake monster push for a couple weeks, because I think he could honestly replace Lance, when it comes to that guy on the roster, and he's a bit younger
Lance
too.
Is kind of, yeah, I was gonna say Lance is kind of up there age-wise.
Yeah,
I think he's in his
yeah.
40s. So he's been around for a minute as well.
He's in his mid-40s, and Brody King's in his mid-30s. And Brody King, in my opinion, is like slightly better, like just slightly. So yeah, So yeah,
I love Archer, but yeah, like I said, he's not getting any
I like
younger.
Lance.
He's going into the G1, bro.
Yeah. That's
gonna be rough on him, but
it is.
he'll have good matches.
He likes doing Japan though. I actually think John has great chemistry with big men. That's also why I was really excited for Brody King versus Mox, is because John, I like his chemistry with big men more than I like his chemistry with people his size, to be honest with you. Like, my favorite types of John Moxley matches are two matches: Mox versus huge guys, and Mox in just like street fight type matches with people, because he's just so great at them. When he can just be scrappy and just be a total pit bull with people. I actually, the type of Mox match that I don't love as much as other people, to be honest, is when Mox tries to just kind of like grapple fuck with people. Like, grapple fuck.
MMA training, bro.
Yeah, I'm not. Shooter John isn't. It doesn't do that much for me, to be honest with you. I mean, his Biff Busick matches was awesome, but like, outside of that, it's kind of just all right. His O'Reilly match did kind of get really good at the end, but it's not my favorite genre of John Moxley match. For me, like when he fought Brody Lee, or when he had the matches with Lance Archer, or like Ryan Cage, or those matches are so cool to me, because John, the thing about Mox is he treats himself like this like lone cowboy, or this man who's hunted or wanted, right? And he always talks in these terms where he's like, he's on the run and he's just like trying to fight for his survival. And he always talks like that in his promos. It's very dramatic. And I remember one time he said, like, you don't win a fight with Lance Archer, you survive a fight with Lance Archer. And his matches really live up to that type of verbiage, like he's like desperately fighting to the death, and he's bleeding, and he's just trying to kind of hang in there, and then he finds an opening and just chokes them out and stuff. It's a formula he's repeated a couple times, but I never get tired of the formula. So I enjoy Mox versus big men. I thought Brody King versus Mox could have been a bit better. It wasn't bad, but it's definitely something I'm not gonna like remember in a couple weeks. And I definitely 100% think they have a better match than them.
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of my feeling when it finished. I was like, there's the makings of a really good match here, but they didn't quite.
No,
I don't know if it was. I don't know, mate. It's the first match together, so you're not gonna get callbacks every time. But I think one day there is the makings of a very, very good match there. So
I completely agree. I completely agree.
What we got in the comments? Lance is 46.
What do you say?
Lance is 46. Lance in the G1 would be magic. He's in the G1, bro.
He's in the G1. He's in the G1, man.
Brody better than Lance.
I think so too. I think Brody King's he's slightly better than Lance Archer. I think he can do a little bit more.
I don't think Lance needs to be replaced. If anything, a heel Luchasaurus would be the closest replacement for him.
Respectfully, a hard pass on
that. Lance is a more capable wrestler right now.
Lance, they're both good.
Yeah, they're both really good. Like that's the thing.
Yeah, there you go. This guy said the Texas Death Match last year was one of Mox's best matches on AEW TV. I agree. I thought that Texas Death Match was fucking badass. And I think Mox's quality of work slipped shortly after that match, because I thought like Mox went on a streak right before he flipped the switch in November. I thought he went on a streak where he kind of like, I don't want to say phoned it in, but he really just he was kind of going through the motions in like party tags with Eddie Kingston, and there wasn't really much to say about them. What happened? What are you looking at?
I feel just like I was just laughing at the flick the switch, because it's just like you knew that baby was coming.
Yes. Yeah, he flipped the switch going into,
and that was like the point when he just went on Savage, when he was around for a couple of weeks, and unfortunately he went into
he had to go to rehab. Right before that, he flipped the switch for like 3 weeks, and he was like, it was like the craziest Mox I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's what, honestly, like, I know it's bad, but like, you know how people say, like, oh, when sometimes when people get sober, like, you know, they're not quite the same, etc., etc.
Yeah.
You know, like he's even been open and he's kind of had like those sort of worries and that, and he's had to get readjust to his body again and everything like that. It's like with the certain edge that he was bringing before he went into rehab, I was kind of worried that he might not have that when he comes back because he really was just like a loose animal. Like,
yeah, he was like
he
a
was
hyena.
really in the zone. Like,
I mean,
go on, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, Monty, it's true, dude. When he first came back, like it was kind of weird. Like he was like awkwardly skinny, if you remember. Like John came back kind of like weird. What's up? Yeah, it was. I was like concerned. Like I knew like it was gonna have to take some time, but when I saw it like that, it was like he didn't even know how to move in his own body for a little bit. And I was watching that match at Deep, and then I was just like, yeah, no, Mox isn't there yet. He's not in that zone right now. You know what I'm looking at right now, Monty? I'm looking at I shouldn't have done this to myself. I'm looking at John Moxley versus 10, which was one of my favorite matches.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna bring that up. I was literally gonna bring that up.
He had a perfect look. This man is walking out like he's like he looks like his body at this time. He's like very burly, you know. He's really like burly and bulky, and his beard, like he has like a lumberjack fucking beard. Yeah, nah, he was
Moxley always captures a certain mode when he's making his ring entrance with the way that he walks and carries himself. It's intense. It's like he's ready. You get me? But when that 10 match, I thought he was going to catch a body when he came to that ring. The way he walked. Is that the one when he pushes the fan out of the way? It might be.
He pushes the fan out the way. He bites 10's face in and then busts him open because he's biting him.
And
he's throwing him around the place. Yeah, lariats him. I'm looking at him. It's really interesting, like how Mox has a lot of different like physiques. Like I remember in the summertime of last year, he was kind of chubby. Right here, he just like I can't explain it because the thing is because I watch John now and it's just different. Like he looks very like burly here. Like that's the only way I can explain it.
It's really striking when you go back and look at him back then.
Yeah,
because when he first came back, he was like, oh, okay, well, you could see that his physique had changed, like physically, like his torso and everything. But when you go back and look at his face, like he had like, you know, like when people drink a lot, they get that puffy face. Like
it's crazy.
You really notice it when you look back at it.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Here you don't see it as much because he like this is I'm looking at it now, like this is the thickest he's ever grown his beard. He looks like a fucking lumberjack. Yeah, this dude. I remember when I watched this match, you know what I thought, Monty? I swear to God, I thought like Mox versus Danielson in this mode is gonna be like the match of the year. Like that's what I was of the belief of.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like now that like time has passed, like I can just say comfortably, Mox versus Danielson at Revolution, it didn't connect with me the way I kind of maybe wanted it to. And I say that as somebody who they're two of like my 5 favorite wrestlers right now. But it just kind of I don't know if it was the crowd or what, but it just kind of I don't know.
Good, but not epic. And when you hear those three names in a match, you want epic, and it was.
I agree.
It was very, very good.
Yeah,
you can't really. I don't know. Like you said, you can't really pick anything out to overly criticize or anything. But it just wasn't that big time epic that you would hope for as a big.
You know what it was for me. It was just a hard hitting technical match with like a quiet crowd, and they just kind of fought. They fought a lot, and then what's that?
I was gonna say, I guess it was kind of perfect for setting up the Blackpool Combat Club.
No, 100%. I was gonna say the big takeaway of that match is not the match. The big takeaway of that match is William Regal.
Yeah, fucking Regal.
Amazing
Regal
moment,
coming
right?
down with the discipline.
When he shows up and he slaps the shit out of both of them.
Yeah, my favorite was the Danielson slap though, because like slaps Mox and Danielson's kind of like the like the teacher's pet, like haha. So
yeah, exactly.
Regal.
You know what? As we're talking, I'm gonna rewatch that match. I'm just gonna look at it visually as we're talking about it. But as we're talking on the podcast. But
all right, so like just Regal kind of like storm into the ring like the angry dad. It was fucking perfect. I was so happy. Honestly, one of my favorite moments. One of my favorite AEW moments. Genuinely.
No, yeah, no, it was incredible. It was incredible. It popped JR, it popped me. It was tremendous. What did I want to say? SmackDown, I heard was like wretched, and I obviously didn't watch the show because I don't watch SmackDown anymore. But I actually read Parker's report in complete full, like segment by segment, and it was so funny just seeing a guy who doesn't watch Fed programming absolutely baffled at just the type of shit that these people are doing on TV. Um, but it was so funny, and simultaneously I was like, this sounds so bad. Like this sounds so bad. Uh, so
Yeah,
I kind of
it was rough, bro. Yeah,
I
there was just nothing really of note
mm,
worth on it. My I think my thing with
mhm,
rating wrestling shows is if someone asks me what happened on the show, what do I tell them?
mhm.
Like with SmackDown, it's just kind of
Nothing happens.
we got the Max Dupree models.
Mhm.
Um, we got sold a dream with a Sheamus Drew McIntyre match that never happened. Um, what else?
Yeah, that was blatant false advertising.
Ronda and Natty had like a fucking 60-second match or something. Um, you see what I mean? It was rough, bro. It was rough, and it was just funny how like Parker got put onto it. And like,
Yeah,
we
I
know like Parker doesn't really watch WWE. Like, he doesn't watch WWE. Then he's like,
yeah, and
SmackDown's very hit and miss with a lot of misses lately.
yeah,
But you know, he literally tuned into like
the
genuinely like
worst
one of the
show. Like
worst episodes of professional wrestling television of the year. Like, it
I
was
just think there's
brutal.
something so like inherently funny about that. That
Yeah,
Parker's assigned to watch like what happened to be the worst SmackDown. Uh, it's
yeah,
incredible.
it was brutal, bro.
God, I'm looking at this match, but I miss Dragon so much. Did you hear the news that he's Dave Meltzer said he's healed?
Well, he's been saying Miles has been saying for a minute that like he's okay, he's fine in like everyday life, but he
Mm.
hasn't said like he's cleared.
Yeah, well, the newest update I think it was on the Sunday night show, I
No,
believe.
I've seen that apparently he said that he's fine, but he didn't say the word cleared.
I
And you know what it's like with Dave? Like you have to really like kind of try and pick, try and decipher what he's saying sometimes. And
I guess
my
so.
thing is, if he doesn't say it, he didn't say it. You know what I mean? He didn't say the word cleared. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I
So
guess so. I guess so. What I will say though is, because again, what I last read was that like Tony was just being cautious about it, but Dragon's
yeah.
okay now. And what I can tell you is, if Dragon's ready to wrestle, man, let him fucking wrestle. Because
Well, apparently, it's not even apparently. Tony Khan covered it on the side. I just can't remember exactly what interview it was.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, ideally, I'd give him credit, but right now I haven't got it in front of me.
Mhm.
Tony Khan was doing an interview, and he said basically, I think it was a couple of weeks out from Forbidden Door. He was speaking to Bryan, and he was like, "Yeah, he's up for it. He's ready." Then about 8 days before, he was talking to Bryan, and Bryan was like, "I feel a bit, I don't feel 100% all there. I'm a bit off." So he was just like, "I'm pulling you. I'm pulling you. I
Mhm.
don't care. I don't care if you're fine in. I don't care if you're fine on the day, but if you're feeling weird 8 days out, I'm pulling you." So,
Yeah.
uh,
And honestly, that's the right thing to do. That's
hundred
the right
percent,
thing to do. That's
hundred
the right thing
percent,
to do.
because concussions are no joke.
They're no joke.
Anything up here, bro. Don't take any
Yeah,
risks.
you don't play games with the head. So I
Yeah.
totally get it. Um, but I mean, damn man, I do hope he's back soon, man. That's Dragon. I hope he
It's a
can.
big part of it. It's a big part of my enjoyment of AEW. To be honest, I know he hasn't
Yes.
been there. I know he hasn't been there since day one, but just being able to see Bryan Danielson wrestle literally anybody, knowing that there's a good chance of seeing that every week, definitely like increases my investment into their product. 100%.
Monty, what was a glorious period? That period where Danielson was just being like a WWE heel, uh, just kind of like fucking up the Dark Order and cutting promos, and on the same shows, uh, CM Punk and MJF were beginning their feud. Like that was happening at the same time, and I was in fucking bliss. You know what I mean? Like this was for me. You know, I remember there was one Dynamite where they experimented and they actually did the WWE Formula TV show where it opened with a long opening interview or promo, and it was Hangman basically celebrating like being the champion and stuff. And Dragon he interrupted, and you know the segment I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was so good. I remember that show stood out to me because AEW they diverted from their formula of just opening with a match immediately, and they did the WWE layout of and show structure, and they did it better than WWE.
I like it when they play around, to be honest, because
yeah, when they play
that's
around
what
the
you've got.
format.
That's kind of what you got to do. Then like you might
Yeah.
catch on to something that catches fire, and
Yeah. I think when you continue to experiment, you learn new things about your own product.
Yeah, and
You know,
the audience and stuff and everything.
100%,
Because
100%.
the AEW audience is very like internet heavy. That's why Tony Khan, I guess, is so online. I think he's a lot more online than a lot of people realize. But that's kind of what his audience has kind of led him to doing. Do you know what I mean? Because
yeah, for sure.
That is the AEW audience, really. Is the super online wrestling
Hardcore
fan,
type of wrestling fan. Yeah, for sure. No, 100%,
Should
100%.
we get to some of these questions? I can pull them up on the screen as well, so I'm gonna do that.
Go right ahead. Honestly, some of them I'll elaborate on. Some of them you could just rapid fire. You know, we'll just kind of go through them.
Tab, share. Let's see if this works. Boom! Here we go.
All right.
Should I pick some out? Is there any that you picked out specifically that you want to look at, or should we just kind of
let me look at. Okay, your screen's too small for me to be able to see it, but
Damn.
All right, I'll pull the tweet up on my screen.
Is that any better?
No. All right, Monty. You know what, Monty? You can fucking just go through them.
Read them.
Yeah, okay. read them. You could rapid fire them. You could cherry pick whatever you want to do.
I'll start with Chris. It's an easy start. We'll start with Chris. Which Twitter mutual do you have that you would like to run a company?
For the record, I want it to be public record that I hate this guy, and
fair.
I'm actively sabotaging his push on WrestlePurists.
Okay, so
Chris, if you're listening to this, fuck you.
Which Twitter mutual do you have that you would like to run a company with, and name which position in the company they would have?
That's awesome. That's awesome. It wouldn't be you, Chris. Certainly wouldn't be you. and I genuinely mean that. I think I was running a promotion. Not to dick ride, but I'd run a promotion with you, Monty. I think we'd have the right
real pro wrestling.
That's what I'm saying. I think the world needs real pro wrestling again. You know, real pro wrestling. That
recreate some 90s magic.
For sure, man. Let's get fucking let's get
if AEW was to do an 8-man gauntlet. Hold on, I didn't even read his name. Manny, this is from Manny.
Shout out to Manny. That's my guy.
Manny, one of the feature writers and podcasters with the WrestlePurists family.
You know what? I'm gonna put out a tweet. I'm gonna put out a tweet right now saying that we're reading your tweets as we speak. So feel free to add some more. But go ahead and ask the question.
Okay. If AEW was to do an 8-man gauntlet match that took over the last hour of the show, which upper mid card main event talent would you like to see in it?
Wait. Did he say what's the premise of the 8-man gauntlet? Just a random 8-man gauntlet?
Just an 8-man gauntlet that takes over the last hour of the show. Let's say it's a number one contender spot or something.
Tony would never book that because then people have to eat pins. So.
Yeah, he's a coward for that, but you know.
Yeah, he doesn't. Tony wouldn't do it purely because like people would have to get pinned. But let's just say in this universe that people can get pinned.
Yeah, you've got the pen. You've got the pen this week.
Oh man, I mean the names that I would put in, you'd almost think this should be on pay-per-view. But god damn, I mean I'd have Andrade on it. I'd have Pac on it. You know, I'd have Miro on it. I'd have Bryan Danielson on it.
4.
That's 4, right?
Yeah.
I'd have
4.
I'd have a young guy on it too. I got to figure out who that's going to be. So what did I say? Miro, Pac. I said
Miro, Pac, Danielson,
Andrade, and Danielson. You know what? Since he's relevant topically and everybody loves him right now, Fuck it, we'll throw Konosuke Takeshita in there.
Yeah, a few people. There's one, two, three people in the chat saying,
Sing Soup.
yeah,
Yeah. I throw Takeshita in there. Did I say Malachi Black?
nope,
I'll throw him in there.
6.
Damn, now I'm starting to feel like Tony because now I'm getting like kind of nervous about people eating pins here. But like I'm like, damn, wait, what are we gonna do here? That's what 6, right?
Yeah, you got 6.
All right, let's
You can protect people in Gauntlet, so if you just pin 2 people, you
yeah.
can eat a pin. It's not gonna hurt you.
All right.
Um,
Let's throw in damn. Let's throw in
someone asked Parker like Shaman. Yeah,
what
he
happened?
does like Shaman.
Yeah.
Someone asked
Parker's
when we were talking about
Sheamus.
SmackDown.
Sheamus is one of Parker's favorite wrestlers. Yeah.
Yeah, he's his favorite WWE wrestler. Didn't even get to see him.
Sheamus last year was on a tear, or in the early part of the year.
Sheamus don't miss, to be honest, in his matches.
He's pretty great.
He shows up. He whacks people
Really hard.
Yeah, he's just.
I mean, he's the reason Dragon retired.
Damn.
He was beating the fuck out of Dragon, and they were both beating the shit out of each other. But okay, I got 6 right. Let's throw Claudio in there.
Okay.
And then let's do. I'll throw a bullshit person in there to be a pin eater. I could throw a Garcia or a Jericho. I'm gonna put one pin eater, and so I'll put in like Scorpio Sky.
No, Scorpio.
Yeah. And then I'd organize it in a way where like certain guys like Claudio or Dragon could go far and then beat the shit out of each other at the end.
See, I'll just like. I'd have to have Samoa Joe in it, or I'd have to.
Sure. Sure.
Samoa Joe just showing up to fuck someone up. Get him out of there.
Killing everybody.
Let him have a little 8 minutes fun in there.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, good stuff.
What? That might take a little bit long. What's your favorite hardcore match of all time? That was asked by Adil.
My answer to Adil might surprise everybody. My favorite hardcore match of all time is Anarchy in the Arena at AEW Double or Nothing.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. It's definitely up there for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of rank hardcore matches next to each other, I think.
Yes.
Especially when it's Anarchy in Arena compared to like I don't know, Cactus Jack versus
Cactus Jack. Triple H is absolutely in my top 5 somewhere.
Yeah.
Terry Funk Onita in the Exploding Barbed Wire Death Match is somewhere in there.
Yeah, how can you compare that to anything?
Exactly. Old man Terry Funk and a crazy Japanese man just are in a stadium just like fighting in front of an exploding ring. Like, how do you rate that versus like another match? But that's there. The Cactus Jack and Triple H is up there. Anarchy in the Arena is my favorite. I like that like a lot more than the majority of AEW hardcore matches.
That's special though. There's so many it's genius ideas.
It is.
Bro, the way they created that Eddie moment with the gas tank, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's unfucking real. Unfucking real.
And that's just Wild
Thing is playing in. Wild Thing is playing for the opening act of the match. Daniel Garcia's pile driving dudes on fucking ring steps. Like it's him and Eddie are having a slap fight in the concession stand. Like that shit is so clear of a stadium stampede in my opinion. But that's another thing for another day.
Cactus Jack versus Triple H was the first match I watched. Was hooked. Fair.
It's amazing.
Honestly, Rock versus Mankind and all quick match count.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, definitely.
If Undertaker versus Foley counts, Monty, I recently rewatched that match like maybe 6-7 months ago, and I used to be of the belief that like it's a match with like really iconic moments, but kind of that's it, right?
No, not our boy Mick.
Wait, what happened?
I said not our boy Mick.
So here's the thing.
Yeah, he goes all in.
Wait, so here's the thing. Yeah, I thought this was a match with like 2 really big moments, right? Like I thought it was a 2-spot match, And as my wrestling taste has evolved over the last few years, I think it's like a work of art. I think the match is brilliant, to be honest with you. And not only do I think it's brilliant, when I last watched it, I don't know why, because I'm not emotional, but the match made me cry. Like something about Mick getting out of the, because it felt so,
off the
dude.
stretcher.
Yeah, like Mick getting stretched out, like it felt like very. I got real into, like I kind of encapsulated the moment in the way where like I kind of tricked myself into believing that like Mick is seriously hurt and this is the end of the match, right? And so I tried to put myself in the mind of a fan in '98, thinking like, okay, that's the end of the match. Like you got this crazy spot, right? But that really wasn't it, man. He got off the stretcher and Terry Funk is like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And he's just climbing him jumping off the stretcher and the crowd is popping as he's doing it, and he's holding his shoulder and he's climbing up the cage back up, and Taker standing up there just kind of egging him on, and Jim Ross is just like, yo, you're out of your fucking mind. Like it's so organic, it's so magic, it's just you can't script this any better, you know. And for him to go back down the top of the roof, right? He gets choke slammed, and even that's not the end. He gets back up and he's fighting with Taker, and they're brawling around the ring, and Foley does his elbow to the outside, and he gets bro, he got tombstone on thumbtacks. He got fucking.
You can even tell at certain points Undertaker's like, yo,
you are crazy. Yeah. The match is just Mick continuing to get up and like Taker doing like even more devastating shit to him, and it's like the best genre of that match I've ever seen. It's incredible. He got choke slammed on thumbtacks, and even that spot, the way they built up to it was so great. Yeah, that match is amazing.
It's up there. Right, so Golden Shoveler, do you want AEW to be more like WWE but with AEW's roster?
Definitely not booking wise.
No, well.
But I do think there are a few maybe production and philosophical notes from WWE that if AEW did it with their, you know, the fact that, because they're in tune with the fans and they know what fans want, I think AEW having their AEW mindset, but also kind of maybe taking WWE's production cues, maybe being willing to slow the show down just a little bit to let things kind of marinate and breathe. Let kind of take time to pat themselves on the back and let moments be moments. You know what I mean? You know, rather than just things that happen and you move right on. I think those are things that would certainly help AEW. Because WWE, you know, where they struggle with, they struggle in areas that AEW succeeds in, and I think they maybe are a bit better at, you know, the pageantry or the big show feel, or
definitely,
you know, the video packages and the productions and hyping up moments, you know, because they don't know how to get to the moments anymore, but they do know how to manufacture the moments.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
So I guess that's my answer with that.
Yeah, they're so opposite each other. There's things that both of them can learn off each other. You know, obviously AEW is very heavy on the fan service sort of thing.
Yeah.
And obviously WWE's, you know, it's this huge fucking multi-billion-dollar company that's, you know, been around for a while and know how to produce these things, and like you said, they know how to make these moments really stand out. The problem is getting to the moments, but
yes.
You know, with AEW, they can get to the moments, and sometimes the moments don't quite hit home quite how you'd like them to. So, example being when Wardlow won the title on this past Wednesday. So, you know, we knew we was getting to that moment. It's the moment that most fans wanted to get to. But when he won the belt, it was kind of like he got on the ropes, they let off the confetti, and they got him out of there. Like, they didn't let it breathe. But
even right now, I don't know what it is.
It didn't feel like the moment it was, because it felt kind of rushed after the match. It'd be interesting to see how long it actually got after the bell rang until we got to the Mox promo, because it felt like,
I gotta be honest with you, Monty, it still hasn't sunk in that he's the TNT champion, and I can't put my finger on why. Like, it just
that maybe has something to do with it, because you didn't have that visual of like it sinking in. Like, imagine for example if FTR came out and congratulated him, got him on the shoulders, blah blah blah. Just something. I'm not saying that's the perfect what they should have done, but just like something, do you know what I mean, to kind of let it sink in, and you know what I mean, let things breathe. But instead, it was just like I said, he got on the rope, praised the belt, confetti went off for like 30 seconds, and then they got him out of there, and we got a Mox promo, and Mox was killing it in a promo less than a minute later, or whatever it was. So it's then obviously with it
I
being
guess I
Mox putting a good
gotta give it a
promo,
yeah.
like it got
I
like
gotta give it a few weeks to just see, but just like I saw the graphic, he's facing Orange Cassidy this week for the TNT Championship, and like I had to stop and tell myself like Wardlow is the TNT champion right now. Like that just doesn't even it doesn't feel real. But honestly, one thing I want to say, he's gonna be the biggest booking challenge for Tony Khan because he's gonna be a difficult guy to keep interesting. Because you have to continually put him in creative and unique situations because he's not like the normal like wrestler, and so he's going to be a guy that Tony's going to have to stay really creative with and try to put him in scenarios where he can kind of be epic and awesome without just kind of feeling like a standard guy on the show. So
yeah, you also need to challenge him as well. You don't want a bunch of squashes, and you don't want a bunch of matches too much like the Scorpio Skull one where it's just what's going to happen, but they added a stipulation to kind of protect Scorpio so he didn't just get squashed flat. And it was just you knew what was happening. I want to see.
That's the thing. You got to be creative. You got to be creative and varied with Wardlow, and that's going to be a genuine challenge. I think Tony is going to be tough for him because I think Wardlow's one of his greatest booking accomplishments. Just the fact that he's
100%.
turned him into a star. And so he's made it up to this point, but now it's like it's going to be even harder keeping him this way because making a babyface really compelling during a chase is one thing, but making a babyface really like stay hot while they're the champion is like twice as hard. And so it's almost imperative for Tony to not squander what he's done so far with him, and that's going to be tough because it's like guys like John Moxley. It's almost like you don't even have to do too much with him. Like you just put him in a match with a guy. And Mox is going to do the work for you. Mox is going to be Mox.
Put some promo and he'll go through some weird
and make it exactly
promo to create this beef in his head. And
Eddie King, and then or like an Eddie Kingston, you can just give him the matchup and he'll get whatever you're doing over. Because
you can tell Tony has his people that he leans on in that sense. I think so. One of them, Punk, obviously, you can kind of just build up Punk. What do you want to do? And he'll go out there and it'll be great. Chris Jericho, he. Pretty much, Chris Jericho pretty much books his own feud. Jericho, Punk, Kingston, you can lean on and just throw into anything, and he'll make it interesting. And obviously, the aforementioned John Moxley, he can work with anything. So it's like you don't have to give him much to, and now just run with it, and they'll be able to do it themselves.
For sure. What's the next question?
Okay. Do you think AEW should make a women's version of the All Atlantic title? So a traveling championship, I think you mean. So.
A traveling championship.
Yeah, like the All Atlantic.
You need. I would.
To say Shida had it right now.
So that's what I was gonna say. If you want to make it would basically then really realistically it would be the AEW Joshi Championship. Honestly. And sure. I just don't. I don't. No, that's what it would be, because a lot of AEW's best women's wrestlers are Joshis. Like I think Yuka Sakazaki and Riho are terrific.
I think Rio's the best female worker in that company. To be honest.
Yeah. No, Rio's special.
I think she's tremendous.
She's I agree. She's she's unreal. I was talking about this last night in Spaces. It really hit me. You know when it hit me? I had really high hopes for Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter. I had really high hopes for it. I wanted it to be like just like this iconic, game-changing match for the women's division of AEW because I had high hopes for just both women. And part of why I didn't reach that expectation for me is because it felt like a match that was well worked, but it kind of came and went. And I realized it was two ladies that kind of just put their head down and just worked hard and worked stiff and just laid their shit in and just wrestled, right? But I feel like there was no effort made to kind of engage the audience that they were wrestling in front of. They kind of just went through what they were doing, and it stands out compared to someone like Riho because so much what she does is performance. It's not just wrestling. I felt like Toni Storm and Jamie in their singles match, they just wrestled. and I felt
Yeah,
like
I get that a
I
lot.
felt
I
like
get that a lot, honestly, with AEW in general. Like,
yeah, no,
sometimes
yeah,
it's just like
sure.
two guys wrestling, and the wrestling's good, but it's just
Hmm.
two guys doing not
That's what
just
I'm
doing
saying.
moves. I'm not saying that, and just doing
Hmm.
flips. They're just kind of they're having a good wrestling match, and they're just kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
But
yeah,
there's no like meat or emotion in it. That's why my favorite wrestlers are people like Eddie Kingston,
yeah.
Riho, CM Punk, these sort of guys.
Mm.
And it's because they connect so strongly with the audience. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
Rio's the sort of wrestler that can come out to kind of like a whatever reaction, then just like by the end of it, she's the most over baby face like
Yeah.
on the show.
It's because of the way she works. I'm telling you, there's a difference between wrestling and performing, and I think that when you're performing, whether your actual work is even good or not on a technical level, when you're performing well, you're engaging the audience and making them. You're taking them on the ride that you're intending them to take them on. You know, when they're going with the ebbs and flows of your match, and they're reacting accordingly. And I think those types of matches are the best types of matches to me, because they're engaging the audience. And I thought that whether even if it was something minor, like if Tony would have just looked at the crowd and pumped their fist, or I don't even know what it would be. It just felt like they kind of had their heads down and wrestled, and that's why to me like it was very just kind of flat. Whereas like again like Riho stands out because she's the opposite, and
Yeah,
a lot of the
Rio
great
especially.
a lot of the great wrestlers in AEW can perform. Chris Jericho was a performer,
Yeah,
quite
great.
frankly,
Yeah,
you
great,
know.
great performance.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, like Rio's special in that sense. I think it was the match
Yeah.
with was it the match with Jamie Hayter that she had.
Hmm.
Um, she's just and she can bring it out of other people because when you're a sympathetic babyface the way that she is, and you're just kind of getting the shit kicked out of you, and you're doing your
Hmm.
smart reversals, and you kind of like you're being quirky, etc., etc. It's just like
Hmm.
it makes the heel more detestable. So like it brings, it elevates everything. So
Hmm.
yeah, Rio's special, man. But on to the next question. If you have one, what is your favorite Lucha Underground match?
Prince Puma versus Rey Mysterio.
Pop. Prince Puma Pop. What happened to him?
Who, Prince Puma?
Oh man, he's one of the talents that you could say that he needs saving. You know,
Hmm.
because bro, imagine him in AEW, like, honestly, or even just like on the Indies, fucking making gifts every weekend.
I think fans on Twitter burying him is the biggest example of like people disliking a guy because of where they work. You know, um, even though obviously WWE hasn't done him any favors.
I think it's. I
Ricochet,
think. Sorry to cut you off, but I think a
yeah,
lot of the people who could dunk on Ricochet are like the younger, like WWE fans who didn't really see him way back
yeah,
then. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
they just see this, this guy who can do flips and stuff. We haven't really got to see like the real Ricochet. Like even
yeah,
like
yeah,
it seems like a lot of people who didn't even really see him too much in NXT. To be honest,
yeah.
it's just kind of like those. The account. You know
Yeah,
the
no, yeah,
profile pictures they have.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I could see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying.
But yeah, the
I
people
get
that
it.
dunk on him seem to be like kind of like the people who definitely haven't been able to see him in his true form, you know. But yeah, save him and Roddy Strong. Okay, so next question we'll go for. See, some of them are a bit too long to go through. Look, we'll be here for like 30 minutes, 2 minutes.
Wait, like which ones? Which ones?
Okay, so someone said, "What's your dream all-out card?" You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
us sitting
yeah,
here putting
that's
10 matches together. It's like he's gonna
all right,
take
all right, all
away.
right. I'll tell you what. Some of those questions that are a bit more loaded, I'll see if I can engage with you on Twitter.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
It's like another one. What's your dream G1 and Best of Super Juniors with AEW and New Japan roster?
I'm not
That's
gonna
like
go fully in
40
detail. All I
wrestlers.
know is, yeah, that's insane. But what I will say is, Bryan Danielson has to be in it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Imagine the Best of the Super Juniors with like I don't
Darby
know,
Allen.
but like they had a couple of luchas in it, like Teton.
Mm.
The one
Oh no
just
no.
gone. But like, imagine if they had
What?
like the Kingo in there. Like, it's going crazy. Like, imagine how over he would get with the Japanese audience just from being like blowing the minds. He's gonna get so over when he comes over to AEW, bro. Because obviously we've seen like we know that the books want him to come over. That's pretty like out there, to be honest. And it just seems to be like a visa issue, which is something that you can assume will potentially get sorted unless he's done some wrongs in his past or something, which I don't know, but I doubt it. I hope not anyway. But if he comes over to America, bro, like if he gets in front of an AEW audience, like it's a wrap. Like Tony will probably be like trying to sign him, to be honest.
Because in his first match, he's gonna get over crazy with all the crazy stuff he does.
He's gonna go crazy as well. Like he's gonna go even crazier. He goes crazy every time he goes out there, but he's like mind-blowingly athletic.
He does things that human bodies just shouldn't do,
Yeah, he does like he's really creative with it as well. It's not like he can flip this many times in the air or he can jump this high or blah blah blah. It's like he does like really creative like cool shit.
Yeah. There's a run he did at Triple Mania that made no sense. Like he forward flipped and then back flipped the guy or whatever.
When he dived off the stage, kicked off the ring post from the outside, then hit a run on someone, like he's
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make sense.
All right, so Little Smoke asked, who has had a more impressive match catalogue so far in 2022, FTR or the Young Bucks?
FTR.
Easy. And I like the Young Bucks, and I know you do too. I like most people like the Young Bucks, you know what I mean? But yeah, but for 2022, like obviously all time, it'd probably be a lot more debatable. For 2022, it's been FTR's year so far, man. Like, it just has. It just has, like, and that's not even a slight on the Young Bucks or anything like that. It's just fucking been FTR's year, man. Joseph asked, what are your long-term goals with the WrestlePurists and this Twitter account, and will you ever arrive to the podcast on time? Thank you in advance.
Will I ever arrive to the podcast on time? Unlikely. What are the long-term goals? To grow WrestlePurists and make it a broad channel with a lot of diverse personalities plying their trade on the channel. I want to expand the presentation. I want to expand the reach. I want to expand the platform on a personal level. I'd love to do more within the wrestling industry, whether it be media coverage or who the fuck knows? Maybe I work in some capacity with a promotion. I really don't have any specifics.
Waiting for the Fox deal.
Yeah, right.
The next Royal Satin.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine, bro?
On some satin shit, bro. I become like a Fed show.
Bro, I'll be real, like I love like doing all this and that, but if Fox came knocking with a big enough number on that piece of paper, like
I would just tell you to give me the channel, Yeah. Honestly, Joe would have to like do all the work.
he's got enough with the late night grin as he is.
Honestly, Monty, if you're working with Fox and you like wrote like some fucking bed chill feature on a match that's gonna happen like the next night on SmackDown, and then the morning of that SmackDown they're like, yeah, Vince changed his mind, they're doing a different match. You would just probably say pop, and then like,
yeah, I've been owned. Okay. When will you, Jake asks, Jake, can't pronounce that last name, I apologize, but Jake asks, when will you live your truth and start podding about Impact?
Legally cannot comment on that. Next question.
Who do you think will win the G1 and who would gain the most from the win that could realistically win? That was asked by Tyler.
Jay White is the IWGP champion. There is no longer an Intercontinental belt. I could see Okada winning the G1 again, which sounds kind of boring, but I could see it.
Yeah, I think he probably will as well. To be honest, that's who I'd put my money on if I had to. I'd go with Okada, but who would I realistically like to see it be that it could elevate would be
I don't see a wild card new winner this year.
There isn't. It's like, I mean, they're not gonna. Who are even the people that would fit? Like, there's because Naito wouldn't be elevated by G1 win.
No. Tanahashi's not gonna win.
Yeah, Tana doesn't. You know what I mean? Tana doesn't need it.
Ibushi's not in the tournament. And he's never wrestling in New Japan
yeah.
ever again.
Ibushi's gone.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't do it with Sonada because I don't think he's signed full time.
I mean, could they do Ospreay versus White? I mean, I guess, but I almost don't.
Does he really need it?
No.
You know, he's a big fish over there.
Honestly, Monty,
he just main evented the Tokyo Dome, bro.
Monty, it's gonna be Jonah, bro.
Oh my god, could you imagine? Bro, he could have some really good matches in that G1, to be honest.
I was gonna say, I'm genuinely curious how he does. I feel like if he's just really mid in this G1, then I think that just kind of spells out what he's gonna be for his career. Like sometimes you are what you are, and sometimes you just take yourself to a new level depending on what environment you're in. And I think this is his best chance to become a great wrestler.
For the most part, I think with Jonah since he's left, since he was released by WWE, for the most part, he's still crept in some of the stuff I don't like. But with Jonah, I like it when he wrestles properly, like a big man. Because he's fucking huge, you know?
Yeah.
He's strikingly big. When he tries to do all that athletic big man shit, cartwheels and stuff.
Yeah, it's lame as fuck.
I just roll my eyes on it.
Yeah, it's lame as fuck.
It's very, and he was leaning very heavily into that towards the end of NXT.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I wasn't be a big heel.
I wasn't a fan of Bronson Reed in general, to be honest with
you. That's what I mean. But when he can lock in and be that big man heel and just kind of,
you know, a match I thought was actually pretty sick. People. I thought his match with Josh Alexander was pretty sick.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew that was gonna be the one you said.
Why?
Probably the only one you actually watched.
No. I watched him in New Japan Strong. I thought he had one of the coolest debut squash matches I've seen in a long time. The
Alexander match is great. That's got the spot in it when Alexander does that crazy dive from the top rope over the railing, isn't
it? The last like 6 minutes of that match were like really beast. So
yeah, right. Your knowledge and love for this is asked by Mad Lad, Ace of New Japan, Tanahashi, burner account. Your knowledge and love for Japanese wrestling shows through on the spaces. It kept my fandom going in the early 2010s to now. How much coverage are you going to dedicate to it? Well,
to historical. I think because last night in the spaces, I was explaining because I was being asked about like why Inokiism happened, and you know how like why UWFI like got over as much as it did and why it died and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of just broke down the origins of shoot style worked wrestling in Japan and where it went. And a lot of people that seemed to got a good reception. I got a lot of DMs of people saying like they learned a lot from me talking about it. It's stuff that I don't go into too much in spaces because like I always thought like, okay, I'm going to kill the viewership and people aren't going to care. But a lot of people were into it. So the question is just how much am I going to cover old Puro? I don't know. But you know, I'm not opposed to it. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk about some shit because I don't know if you know this, Monty. You know, I've seen every single major New Japan show from 1973 to like some point into some point recently that you could find on the internet. Like in the pandemic, I became like a maniac, and so yeah.
It's so what's the word? No, I don't want magic's not the word I'm looking for, but like when you watch those big Tokyo Dome shows, especially the older ones.
Oh my god!
Something like
it is unreal.
It's surreal and like just.
Monty, I'm gonna put it to you this way.
It feels like there's nothing big. Like it feels bigger. It's like it's bigger than Mania. Like if you're like a big like fucking, you know, if you're into your Puro shit and you know you love like you know that sort of
I gotta be honest, Monty.
Sort of presentation. Like it's just.
Yeah. It feels so big time. It's so epic. It feels like God's wrestling.
Yeah,
It's something that over the years I've taught myself to do when it comes to watching wrestling from the past. I am able to because sometimes people they only watch modern wrestling and they'll just jump and see something from '87, and it just doesn't register in their brain the way maybe it should, and maybe they don't take the match in the way maybe you they'll just see an old match and they're not used to watching old wrestling, and they maybe may not get why it's good or something. You know what I mean? And
yeah. Cool. Context.
um
It's just one of
so
those
so
things.
so for me, Monty, I've been able to compartmentalize and put myself into pro wrestling of that year when I'm watching a match, because I've this is not to brag, but I've seen so much fucking wrestling all time, right? And so I can just in my brain go yeah, this is what wrestling in 1987 was before I'm going into the match. Do you know what I mean? Um, and a good example of this was I remember there was a period during the pandemic I was watching a bunch of 1989 WWF, and it was cool. And then in the middle of that marathon, I just switched to Crockett, and I just went and I watched Steamboat Flair again, right? And watching Steamboat Flair in the context of just watching a bunch of 1989 WWF, this shit is it really is some Omega Okada shit for its generation.
Yeah, it
It's
is
it's
definitely.
unreal.
It's that's definitely a thing with Flair Steamboat, for
Yeah,
example, and that match, in my opinion, still kind of holds up now to
yeah. I
even the
think
highest of expectations.
it's
But
one of my favorite wrestling matches ever.
yeah, but in the context of 1989,
It is
it's genuinely
unreal.
mind-blowingly insane.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
storytelling, just everything about it. Um, but no, when it comes to old Japanese shows, right? You know what's the thing about it? I because Inoki is very much like a martial arts based wrestler. I watch his matches I don't watch it like I'm watching wrestling. I actually trick myself into I work
I think you're
myself and tell
watching
myself,
Pride.
yeah, I tell myself I'm watching a fight, right? And so
Yeah,
because of that, when you're watching a fight, you're anticipating a hit landing and getting excited over it, right? So when I'm just seeing Inoki kind of stance up and bob and weave and shit, right? And then he finally just gets an elbow in, or Adenor busts out an enziguri, or Masa Saito counters him and
yeah,
gives him a
definitely.
suplex. It is crazy, and the dome is losing their shit.
Yeah,
I'm losing my shit. Adenor, he has some Adenor in an arm bar, and he's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and he gets turned into a leg lock, and it's like, holy fucking shit, ah! And he fucking taps out. It's crazy, man. I watch it with that mindset. But
they so you watch it with that lens on anyway, but it's also the performers are that good at making you buy into it as well. So
yeah, for sure.
even you can talk about the
It,
four
it, it,
pillars, for example. It's just
yeah.
it's a different art form, man, to
Yes. It is. It is.
it's very much like you said, you kind of trick yourself into what you're watching an MMA fight. It genuinely does have big time Japan shows definitely have the feeling of old school pride fights.
You know what?
That's
I'll
kind
give
of
the, I'll
the
give the viewers an easy entry level recommendation that doesn't need that much context, really. I mean, there's a lot that went into this, but you can enjoy it even without the context. Battle Formation 1996 Tokyo Dome. It was in April of '96, I believe. I think it was April. Shinya Hashimoto versus Nobuhiko Takada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Hashimoto is fighting on behalf of his home promotion, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he's trying to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship from the invading Nobuhiko Takada, who is holding New Japan's belt, and he was the top ace of UWFI. That is a tremendous big match fight between two guys who honestly, Monty, if you watch it now, it looks like the prototype to a lot of the Ishii never open weight type of wrestling matches.
yeah.
But with big Tokyo Dome aura, it's great. What's the next question?
Jenny Omega has asked,
Oh shit, Jenny.
which factions or individual wrestlers do you think could use some rebranding?
The Dark Order have passed their expiration date. Unfortunately, I think it's. I honestly, when I was watching Dynamite, I thought that they were going to put the stable to rest in Brody's hometown, and I actually thought that was a fitting space to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
genuinely thought that's what was going to happen, and I was like, yeah, it's the right time, you know. Colt Cabana wasn't even there. Stu Grayson's not there anymore. Alan Angels isn't there. And I'm looking at the visual, and I'm just like, this is, we're beyond spinning our wheels, So I thought, like, respectfully in Brody's memory, it would have been nice to just kind of like put it to bed. But they went in the opposite direction, and so be it. But in my personal opinion, um, in my view, I think, I think even past the rebranding, I think they should just kind of move on. Other stables, God, what other stables exist that I really even feel anything for? The Blackpool Combat Club is tremendous. They're probably going to be my favorite stable of all time by the end of the year.
Jericho Appreciation Sort is tremendous as well.
Yes.
What else we got?
What else do we have?
Bloodline.
Bloodline are fine.
Yeah, they are what they are.
Yeah.
It's Roman the new, so it's like
yes.
Yeah, with Heyman, obviously. Of course.
They're fine.
What else is there? Obviously, there's all the Joshi factions and groups.
Sure.
But I think the
Bullet Club don't. The Bullet Club don't do much for me in 2022 at all. But at the same time, New Japan's just gonna do what they do with them because of merchandise. So it is what it is.
I think.
So, yeah.
I was interested to see where they'd go with the Bullet Club when they. I think it was Dantaku when they reintroduced the Bullet Club as like a big player so impactfully, and you had Jay White's return as well. You had all the Bullet Club wins on that card. Then Jay White comes back and he beats Okada and he beats him decisively as well. Like that was a really decisive. It was almost telling in the sense of like New Japan was like, okay, well, Okada, he's our car race and everything, but like right now, we're going with Jay White because Jay White took so much of that match as well. It wasn't just like he beat him with his finish. He took a majority of the match, then just beat him clean. It was a great match. I'm not saying it was just like a squash or anything. It was a great match, but Jay White did take a lot of it. It was very decisive. So I was interested to see like how All In would go with Bullet Club. Obviously, the addition of Juice Robinson. I think he's a good addition to any faction. He's a great wrestler. Great promo, great wrestler. But yeah, it's just kind of like I kind of feel like I'm still waiting, and we're quite a few months removed. Jay White is the champion, but I guess I'm still waiting to see. I guess to use the famous phrase, let it play out. But Bullet Club has been around for a while, but I kind of feel like I'm giving them another chance with this recent strong push that they've given. Have you cut out?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
One of my personal friends, he doesn't really engage with wrestling Twitter, but he's a wrestling fan. He's a bit more of a casual fan, and he watches WWE. He's telling me that all I see is him just losing his absolute shit over Brock Lesnar's opening segment of Raw. So I could only imagine. All I see is him screaming in this chat I'm in, and he writes in all caps, "That suplex was godly."
That's Brock, bro.
Brock Lesnar's the man. Bro. He's the man. He's the man. Apparently they're doing Matt Riddle and Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory and Seth Rollins tonight. If that has a finish, that's probably going to be something I'll give a rating to. So
yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it. Even if it doesn't have a finish, if it actually gets any sort of length and it isn't just some 90-second bullshit angle, I've decided recently that I'm gonna start. I need to pick my shots before I actually stay up to watch, because if I stay up to watch Raw live, I'm up till 4 a.m. at least.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's what I mean. It finishes at 4 a.m. over here, Raw does. So it's like
staying up till 4 a.m. for Monday Night Raw is insane.
This is what I'm saying, bro. So,
but love the game. You know what I mean. So,
and I kind of enjoy Raw as well. So it's even still, it's too much. Then it's like when I do it for NXT, when I do it for Dynamite, then when I do it for
that's draining.
And pay-per-views as well. Then I like to catch up on my UFC pay-per-views as well. And it's just like sometimes
it's overwhelming, right?
This is this British wrestling fan schedule is brutal, bro.
Monty, that's why I came to realize that I understand why the Brits are so grumpy and negative and pissy. It's because you guys are watching wrestling at 4 a.m. You know,
Yeah, yeah, man.
like that is a totally different mindset. You're like just very morose and snide and snarky about everything because you have bags in your eyes and you're just tired as fuck watching wrestling.
brutal. It's
You know,
it's a yeah.
it's
Right,
so different.
controversial question.
Okay,
Tony asks, "How do you feel about Impact?"
I will refrain from answering that question.
Kachow has asked at Damien Miche, I want to say. He has asked, "Who are the best and worst members of the WrestlePurists collective?"
Worst members Murph and Chris. Best members you and Parker.
I'll say worst members are Murph and Chris. The best members are Jamie, Parker, Hollywood, and Joe.
Joe's awesome.
And Jay Show, but she's in and out, in and out. Who else we got? Crash Override asks if you could do a trade of if you could do an equal trade, what an AEW WWE trade would you do and why? The way he asked it was really weird. Like, he put,
Yeah.
if you could do a trade of equality, what would what?
Equality.
I think what I said is what he was trying to say.
Yeah. I'd send 10 over to WWE. I'd send Ricky Starks over to WWE. If like I could book WWE, obviously, because like
Yeah,
I wouldn't wish. Yeah, I wouldn't wish anyone Vince McMahon on anybody. You know what I mean? Like on any
who would you trade them for though?
What's an equal trade for 10 and this guy? Chad Gable and Otis. Alpha Academy for 10 and Ricky Starks. And I'd bring.
I don't know if that's equal, you know, because Ricky Starks is like in most people's eyes like a penciled in future main eventer. So
but Monty, you have to understand that Chad Gable in AEW's environment where he can completely cook will be a star.
A freak, yeah.
You know, like yeah, it's not equal in terms of what the level of push in their respective shows right now.
Yeah, of course.
But Chad Gable in AEW setting where he can completely cook would literally be a star.
Yeah, probably right.
You know, just look at Claudio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, and he's only been here 2 minutes, so
exactly.
It was always gonna. I've said it on the podcast leading up to his debut. Like as soon as he gets in those AEW rings, people are gonna know. Like, they're gonna remember who the fuck Claudio is, and they have. So all hail.
Yep.
Kid Ream Stuff has asked, who's got the best work punch in the business? Which is a good question because not that many wrestlers actually throw work punches anymore. They just
a lot of wrestlers
and they throw forearms. So
yes,
wrestlers don't know it.
I was just gonna say that it's a hard question to even answer because a lot of people don't do it anymore because they don't know how to do it. Everybody just does the chops and forearms and slaps because it's easier to do. Who even does it and does it like in a way that I like it? God damn it.
QT's got a great punch.
Yes, it God damn it. It might be QT.
QT's got a great punch.
It might be QT because dude.
Miro's got a good punch.
It's fine.
Who else? Dax.
Dax is good.
Who in WWE is there?
CM Punk throws these very wild-fisted, wily Terry Funk style punches that pop.
Sheamus throws these really weird overhands sometimes. Like,
they're funny. was gonna
Same
say,
with
yeah,
Drew,
yeah.
to be honest. Who else is there?
Not a lot, man.
This is what I'm saying, bro. Like everyone just does forearms now.
It's a lot. It's a lost art. It's a
It
lost
is,
art.
man. Dustin. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin throws a great punch. Come on, chat. Give us some names. I know who throws good punches. The search good punches. Jamie's just trolling us, saying Shane O'Mac. A go-go.
LOL.
Well, I don't know, man. It's tough, and it is tough. I love a good punch, man. That's why I popped the
Yo,
top.
they're doing Finn Balor versus Rey Mysterio.
But now,
Oh shit! Actually, you know what? I'm gonna let that happen before I get it, because that might be a DQ. But
yeah, especially when it's
holy,
the mid card, bro. Like, you can never predict.
a raw match, 30 minutes into the show. That's DQ alert. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like,
and it might not even be a DQ. Like, it might just be like a roll up in like 40 seconds.
yeah, the 3 minutes. I'll tell you what though, 3 minutes of Finn Balor and Rey Mysterio is probably gonna be sensational. It's probably gonna be like
Someone said,
three sensational minutes. You know.
yeah, because they can do the short TV matches. Like Rey Mysterio is arguably the greatest TV worker of all time. Then you've got Finn Balor, who's just kind of, unfortunately, kind of learned how to do the WWE like short matches because of kind of like that's what he's been doing for so long now, and he's just kind of really figured out like Finn Balor can go out there and have a legitimately really good like 6 minute match. Like, he can do it. So that could be tremendous, definitely. But Jamie, good old Jamie, of WrestlePurists fame, he's asked, "Why do you never turn your camera on?" Which is a fair
Who,
question.
me? Wait, who asked me this?
Jamie.
Who's this?
Jamie, our good friend Jamie from WrestlePurists.
Oh, Monty, remember how you know how like now I don't use the mic that I bought because of like the issues it was creating on the app and all that shit. Ever since then I gave up. I bought a camera, but like when I try to connect my camera and my microphone, the app acts stupid and won't open it, and so I just quit.
What are you doing this from your phone?
Yeah, I'm doing this from my phone right now because
We need to get you set up. It's on it.
Huh?
I need the Fox deal. We're gonna get you set up.
Yeah, set me up, man.
Lamora asks, does the Vince news change the free agency game for WWE? Is it less likely that any AEW wrestlers make the jump now?
Potentially.
Well, you don't want to work for a pervert, so like, I'm sure definitely, especially for the women,
Yeah. I think it affects the women a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's like, you hear these like horrific
Yeah,
stories and stuff,
for
and it's like,
sure.
WWE
Unfortunately,
would definitely love to sign someone like Jay Cargill one day, but like, maybe.
I think it may not affect the men as much, especially if money talks. But I definitely think it affects the women.
Yeah, I think that's a fair answer. And two, he or she has got a double question. If you were Tony Khan, how would you book Takeshita from here on?
1999 Tajiri. I would slowly.
You're gonna have to explain that one.
Okay, so Tajiri came into ECW fresh off BJW, and he had his Japanese outfit, and he was just having good matches, and he kind of took the wrestling scene by storm because he was such a great wrestler, and slowly he turned himself into a ECW wrestler with a whole gimmick change, gear look change, direction change, and he became a star within the brand. I guess what I'm saying with Takeshita is I think I would slowly transition into making him just a straight up AEW star. If that makes any sense. So it would include kind of assimilating him more, because right now he's still Konosuke Takeshita fresh out of DDT in every way in terms of how he's presented, his theme song, his gear, his in ring style, and and that's totally fine. But
Yeah,
I
it's
think I
great.
would. Yeah. He's been terrific. But I think I would make him an AEW star. You know?
Yeah, I hear you. I'll say let's do 10 more minutes. We'll
Yeah,
try
yeah.
blast through. We'll try blast through like we haven't got. There's a few questions, but we'll try to do quick fire. There's a CM Punk Phil Brooks joke. How good would a PKS movement Daniel Bryan versus Pete Brock Lesnar match been at WrestleMania 31? If you could go back and change history, would you have done that over the Brock Roman with the Rollins cash in?
Would I have done that instead? Perhaps. How good would the match be? It'd be one of the greatest matches in the history of the business.
Fair. Because even when Bryan and Brock locked up many
It
years
was
later,
incredible.
yeah, tremendous.
It was tremendous, and that was a Danielson who, in general, was holding back his in-ring style, and a Brock who was in full like phone it in mode, and it was incredible.
Yeah. Okay. Death Rectangle asks, how long do you think Punk's title reign should last once he's back, and how would you book the dethroning of Punk?
Before he got injured, my personal opinion was that he should lose it to Eddie Kingston at Arthur Ashe.
Mm-hmm.
But the timeline is very different now because of the injury.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps Eddie Kingston should still be the one to beat him. How long it goes, it really depends, man. I don't know. 5 to 10 months.
Okay, next question. Are you ready to control your narrative?
No.
If you had to choose someone from another promotion to be the next All Atlantic champion, who would you pick?
If I had to choose what?
If you had to choose someone from another promotion to be the next All Atlantic champion, who would you pick? That was asked by at Death Triangles, Amy.
I don't know. Nobody in particular comes to mind.
Probably a New Japan guy, I'd assume.
Yeah, you know what, man? You know
Kenta
what?
or someone.
No. You know what? You know what?
Go.
Whoever is the most furthest along by that point, young boy in New Japan is my answer. So I'm thinking potentially a Shota Umino, Yuya Uemura type of wrestler.
Ren Narita.
Sure. I'm
Ren
thinking along
Narita,
those lines.
yeah, I hear you. What's a wrestler or gimmick you've disliked before but recently have shifted your opinion positively or vice versa?
I didn't like Riho at first. I thought she was undersized, and I thought it was preposterous that she was beating people. I didn't. I was not a Riho
Brought
fan.
out the corner in you. You just
What happened?
that's it. You said she brought out the corner in you.
I guess.
Undersized.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's tremendous now. I've come around to Maki Ito. I didn't like Maki Ito at first. Honestly, a lot of the Joshis.
You're sounding quite problematic here right now.
No, I just think a lot of the Joshi wrestlers were like jarring to me at first. But like a lot of them are pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man.
I came around to most of them. The American meme wrestlers, not so much. Most of them. Once I decided how I feel on them, that's just kind of how I feel on them.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's less substance and there's less actual talent when it comes to performing. Like the meme is just all they have. Whereas some of these Joshis, they're behind the persona and the gimmick are really talented individuals that get this over.
Extremely, yeah. How would the MJF World Title run look like? What would be the key matches and the central storyline? That was asked by at Smelly Caravans. Pop.
An MJF title reign would have to have matches with people like Eddie Kingston, Hangman Page, Wardlow.
People that people really, really like.
CM Punk. Yes.
Yeah. What are some improvements TK could make to better refine, expand on Ring of Honor without losing its essence? That's a good question.
Oh man, viable streaming.
Mm-hmm. definitely. It might even be the big one, to be honest.
Yeah, just viable,
It's something easy to access.
viable streaming and accessibility.
Yeah. How do you think this? How do you think? Okay, this is asked by. I keep forgetting to read the names first. Devon asks, "How do you all think the partnership with Stardom should eventually be handled? Also, do we like these championship eliminator matches where if someone beats the champ, they get a shot?"
Championship eliminators are not my thing because it's literally just the thing that WWE is doing. Like, remember last year WWE started this championship contenders match bullshit where you just fight the champ, beat them, and get a title shot. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
And I hate that shit. And now AEW is taking them, and I'm not crazy about it.
It's like even so you can't even. It's not even sort of thing like I dunk on Twitter. Like it's not like dunk worthy stuff. But like when Tony tweeted out that graphic with Max and Takeshita, it's like
which is going to be a tremendous match.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of like AEW doing that thing where it's like the match will bang though, and it's like the match will be great, but it's the way that they got there was not to my liking at all. To be honest, you're giving a guy who literally just lost on TV like 3 days ago a shot, an opportunity. You know what I mean? So it's just there's obviously that, but it's also just the whole like premise, like you just said, of the championship eliminator matches. I just don't like that premise. Full stop. Anyway, so. It's not ideal, but the match will bang, and people will be, it'll probably get match of the week next week, and so 6-star, who I know that we're good friends with. 6-star asks, what is your favorite TV match of the year so far?
CM Punk versus Dax Harwood.
And what is your favorite TV match of all time?
Oh my god, bro! I feel like I don't have an answer at the top of my head, and then later it's gonna hit me.
Yeah, well, you'll just tweet it in capitals.
Yeah.
Steve Austin versus.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna rapid fire a couple ones that I think are great off the top of my head. God damn.
It's hard because there's so many. It's like what era?
Yeah.
Like, what era are we gonna start?
Yeah. Honestly, Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat on WWF Superstars in 1986 is not only the best TV match of the 80s in my opinion. I think it's actually the best Steamboat Savage match. The famous one is their 1987 match at WrestleMania 3. But I actually think their match on Superstars, where you had the angle where Savage basically destroys his throat, is the better wrestling match. It's tremendous.
Yeah.
That match is amazing. God, there's so many sensational cruiserweight TV matches on Nitro.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a hard question to answer. In the 2000s, Kurt Angle and Brock on SmackDown.
But it's like even like the man who won't be mentioned at the moment.
He has so many incredible TV matches.
Like it's just catalog's bro.
Yeah, I was just looking at his cage match. Monty, did you know that from September 2002 to March of 2003, that man had no match under 3 3/4 stars?
Yeah, I did know that, and I know that because you told me that months ago. And
yeah, it's unreal.
It's something you rediscovered it again like earlier, and you put it in a group chat.
Yeah, because it's just mind blowing. Like, because here's the thing, that's counting him wrestling on weekly TV. Nothing was under 3 3/4, and that's on Fed programming where like wrestling isn't the focus. That's just kind of crazy,
especially at that time as well. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
To be having,
I guess with SmackDown there was a lot more, especially that era of SmackDown as well. There was a little more focus on him
wrestling,
but still,
yeah.
Okay, so Toxic Spider asks, we've only got a couple more, we might as well just finish them off.
Sure.
Yeah. Who is the most misused wrestler in wrestling history?
Ever?
Dr. Death Steve Williams.
My answer Sting. I think Sting is the most perpetually mishandled wrestler of all time. I
That's
think it's
fair.
a testament to how incredible he is that he's a legend because
Mm-hmm.
he's been in the hands of incompetency for the majority of his career.
Yeah, he done long stretches of
Literally, like
yeah.
like early mid '90s WCW is in competent hands, and he is a superstar. Even when he became the Crow, they didn't stick the landing. And then in his second title reign, they turned him heel for no reason. He goes to
Crazy stuff.
TNA. TNA after 2 years, they don't know what to do with him properly. And then he has a Joker gimmick. And you know and these promotions continually want to make Sting a heel, and he's just the most babyface you've ever seen. He goes to
It's
WWE and he
not.
loses his debut match to Triple H.
That's why
This
I think
guy,
that's why it's so like nice to see him where he's at now. Even though obviously he's way past his prime, like he's getting that like baby face, like he's getting booked how he like should be. You know?
Monty, this is gonna sound like an insane hot take, but it's actually the truth when you think about it. Sting right now is the most competent, not counting like the majority of 1997. This is the most competent Sting has been handled for a prolonged period of time. His AEW run
Yeah, definitely.
since 1989.
That shouldn't even
That
be a hot take.
that is fucking insane. It's
It
actually
is.
Monty.
It
It's
is.
actually why when people say things like Sting is better than Undertaker, if you want to talk about ability and talent, I mean, if you want to have that conversation, have at it. But in terms of career, absolutely not, in my opinion, because Sting is he's just been around too much fucking bad, and it's not his fault.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
not his fault.
shame. He's
Yeah.
so likable as well, like as a
Yes.
person, and he's just been
Yes.
like eating shit. So, well,
If
not
the
anymore, but
if these companies even handled Sting halfway great, he'd be in the GOAT conversation.
yeah, he's that good of a baby face. Like,
Yes.
you know.
He's been sensational for 35 years in spite of the fact that he's been around just absolute like stupidity. So that's my answer.
Yeah. Okay, so Zeke, I think his name is, or Ezekiel. um, where does TJPW and Stardom rank in top promotions this year? Um, hmm,
That's a question
interesting.
for That's a question for my boy Parker.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Because he
yeah,
watches, he watches all of it. You know, I could only
yeah.
judge off like the big shows that I've watched, and it's
Mm,
only been a small handful of them this year from both of them.
mm,
But they're definitely up there. But Stardom's growth over the pandemic has actually been like kind of staggering, and
mm.
it's just cool to see. You know,
Def-
TJPW, that show that they put on over the weekend was tremendous.
mm,
So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going over there in that part of wrestling.
mm,
They're definitely up. They're definitely up there. Both of them. They are definitely up there. Like even with the little bit I've seen, you can just tell.
mm.
But yeah. Hugo asks, in your opinion, should Claudio win the AEW World Championship eventually? And what are the top 3 wrestlers who should win that gold that haven't yet?
Too early to tell. I don't know. He can be an asset to the product without even being a champion, but who knows how hot he gets? I think Claudio's tremendous. It's too early.
ROH World Champion, I think, is going to be his world
Mm,
title that he wins under Tony Khan's leadership.
yeah, I could see it. I could see it. Who could and should be AEW champion? MJF, Eddie Kingston.
MJF, Eddie Kingston, you got one more?
Uh, I can name guys that I would like, but they don't have to be champion. I think going all in on Andrade would be kind of cool.
Yeah, Andrade, and I think another one that kind of popped me, what sprung to mind, was Malachi, to be honest.
Hmm.
Miro as well.
Hmm.
Um, who else is there? Who's another homegrown I could do it with? Hmm. Hmm. Trying to think. I can't. Why am I blanking right now?
Hangman is 100% going to be a repeat champion at some point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a obvious one.
Yeah.
I can't be getting up the roster and stuff. Trying to do quick fire questions. What are we doing here?
Hmm.
Right. Let's scroll to the bottom. I think we're on our either last question or second to last question. I'm scrolling now because the page has decided to. Okay, with the recent Vince, Sasha, Naomi, and constant injuries, would you say that MJF has been called off entirely?
Cooled off?
He said called off entirely. I think he's called off, but not completely. But it's definitely not as it's not as big as it was because of all the stuff that has happened since then, which is completely out of AEW and MJF's control. But when Vince is getting outed as a pervert, which most fans kind of like knew that anyway, and people kind of knew that anyway. But when there's actual like black and white allegations and stuff there, and hush money and all this and that, and it's a bit messy. So then obviously Sasha and Naomi walking out, no one was predicting that. And all the injuries and everything like that, can't predict those. So it's been really unlucky in the sense of wanting to make that, hit home. But
yeah, that's fair.
Do you think a shoot-based promotion would translate well to American audiences?
No.
No. No. It's like like Bloodsport is probably as far as you can go with it, isn't it? You can't go any further.
And even there, there's a ceiling.
Yeah, there's a definite ceiling.
And that's coming from somebody that likes shoot style wrestling.
Yeah, it just has a ceiling. There's a certain pacing to it and everything. It's like I can't imagine one of those GCW like matches, like even the great ones in like a huge arena. You know what I mean? Like it just wouldn't connect in that. I don't know, man. Especially in America, anyway. Obviously, different countries, it's completely different thing. But okay, so I think we've got through at least most of the questions.
Nice.
We done, yeah. That's our first Q&A. How did you find it?
That was cool. Yeah, the questions were pretty good. And yeah, I enjoyed this pod. Just kind of a nice change of pace. Just more casual, less structured. Just kind of hang out. I hope it made for entertaining listening, because I wasn't particularly bombastic.
This is just a chill. Raw's on right now. We've just, you know what I mean? We're going head to head with Raw. We're just chilling. We're just answering questions, talking to the chat. But it wasn't. I didn't even know what to call this stream, to be honest. So I just called it the Hollywood Q&A. And yeah, man, I think that's. Is there anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Thank you everybody for listening. Expect some interesting and quirky things coming to the channel sooner rather than later.
Yes.
I may do a space tonight. I may not. We'll see. But I do appreciate everybody who's listening today. And yeah, I enjoy pro wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Like, subscribe, enjoy pro wrestling. There was something I wanted to add in, but I've completely forgot it, and I'm gonna remember as soon as we get out of here. I know I am, but yeah, let's get out of here. Like I said, like, subscribe, and we'll be back in the week. We've just released our ratings earlier today. Rest of the week was Eddie Kingston. Matches of the week are on our website and all our other match ratings from the week. And yeah, I appreciate everyone sticking with us through through this head-to-head with Monday Night Raw. Jamie sent in a chat saying when Raw does a down rating tonight, it will be because of competing with the WrestlePurists podcast.
Dave's gonna have to take a note of that when he talks about the ratings. He's gonna say that.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, I'm gonna be writing into it. We'll get Murph. To write into it.
Yeah, that like Raw actually had that competition with the WrestlePurists podcast at the beginning of the day.
Yeah, he'll understand. But yeah, one last time, like, subscribe, follow us at WrestlePurist, follow my good friend Hollywood at Backup Hangman, follow me at Montel WP, and we will catch you sometime throughout the week.